Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the second in our series of webinars on the future of online category management, hosted by the ECR community and Clavis Insight. We're going to start the webinar now, and I'm going to hand over to Declan Carolyn from ECR community to introduce it.
Hi everybody, my name is Declan Carolyn. I'm co-chair of ECR Community and General Manager of ECR Ireland, and I'm delighted to welcome you to the second ECR Community webinar on the future of online category management. This is the second in a series of 3 webinars. Over 140 people joined us last month for the first webinar in this series, which focused on tomorrow's category management today. How do brands achieve their goals in a world without planograms and shelves? If you missed it or wish to catch up, there's a link at ecr-community.org to do so. Today we have over 270 people registered from over 28 countries for the second in the series, Content, Consideration and the Online Consumer. And hopefully you can join us for the final webinar on November the 15th, when we will consider availability in the online channel. Next slide please, Paul. Following this, we will consider a further series of webinars, so please feel free to contact us with your feedback or proposals if you would actually like to participate in them. Allow me to spend a moment to place these webinars in context. We are all aware how critical the online retail environment is becoming and how the channel is here to stay. Digital disruption is reinventing consumer expectations. Factors driving this disruption are rapidly evolving and include activities such as always-on connectivity, extensive social media, the growing use of artificial intelligence, the rapid rise of effective voice recognition, as illustrated by recent announcements from Walmart and Ocado, for example, and increasingly interactive user experiences. Additionally, a major factor in driving industry-wide change is that consumers expect any positive digital experience with any product or service to be replicated by all others and have developed a very low tolerance for poor digital usability. Every company, every product and every service must track digital developments and very quickly adapt their own offering. Consumer impatience for failing to do so is unforgiving. To this extent, these webinars are designed to represent a valuable source of information for us all, an opportunity to further our knowledge and share learnings in this rapidly evolving discipline, and should allow all listeners to benchmark their company's offerings and track industry developments accordingly. Next slide, please. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. All participants will be on mute for the duration of the call, but we do encourage you to ask questions or to make a comment by posting to the Q&A box located on the right-hand side of your screen. We will answer as many questions as time allows at the end of the presentation, and I would strongly encourage this dialogue, as it would make for richer content, which is particularly valuable when dealing with as rapidly a changing an environment as online retailing. Next slide, please. Here is the agenda for today. I will refrain from giving an in-depth introduction to ECR this time. For those interested, please check out webinar number 1. Other than to say, ECR is the flagship for collaboration, and ECR Community has a network of over 1,800 retailers, manufacturers and service providers. Considering that category management is part of ECR's heritage, our objective in these webinars is to facilitate dialogue between the experts and practitioners in online category management. Joining us for today's session once again are Danny Silverman from Clavis Insight, who leads their product and corporate marketing team, and will discuss always-on content, how to deliver and monitor winning content for the online channel. Then Daniel Corsten, who is professor at IE Business School, who will consider organising for success, designing your team to create and maintain engaging e-commerce content. So please enjoy the webinar, and do consider questions or comments that will deepen the conversation. Over to you, Danny.
Great, thank you very much, and I'm very happy to be here today. Paul, if you want to hand over slide control. Great, and I'll be talking through today a few items around content. First of all, understanding the importance of it, how to create and manage engaging product detail pages, and finally the KPIs that you would want to use to measure the effectiveness of your content. So let's start by talking about the importance of content. As online purchases continue to increase, we know that in CPG and FMCG, we tend to see a smaller percentage of online sales relative to the effort that it takes. But as many have probably seen by now, there's several studies out now that prove the impact of digital and e-commerce on offline purchase. So a few years ago, it was less than half. Last year, it crossed about the halfway mark, and they're projecting forward 60, 70, even 80% of all retail purchases, online or off, being influenced in some way by an online or digital interaction. And for that reason, it's very important that when the shoppers encounter your content, that it's accurate and up to date. Because what they're doing is they're researching. This is the reason why they're going online first, but not necessarily purchasing. It's a low time investment or a convenient way to research new items and products that they might need to discover because they've entered a new category. One of the terms for a couple of years ago, there was a lot of noise about showrooming, this idea that shoppers were using their phones in the aisles of brick and mortar retailers and making purchases online instead of at the physical shelf. That term was turned around into web rooming, which was the term that followed to describe people doing the opposite, ultimately browsing online before they go into store. And it is important to understand both dynamics. At the end of the day, the shopper is one person. She may choose to browse online or off. She may choose to shop online or off. The important thing is that the content is available wherever, whenever, and however he or she wants to access it. Just to talk for a moment about how that online research is used, the majority are using it to look up product information. That's a shift versus check or compare prices. So if we go back 3, 4, 5 years, the primary use of looking online was to compare prices, but product information has taken the lead in terms of the #1 reason why consumers are looking at product content before making a purchase. They might also be looking for deals or promotions, or looking to find out more about something that they've heard about through an advertisement or through social media. In terms of how to approach content, let's take a look at the Clavis model. If you've heard our webinars before, earlier this year, you've heard us talk about the 6 Ps e-commerce intelligence framework. The 6 Ps e-commerce intelligence framework was built off the traditional 4 Ps marketing model that many of you may have already been familiar with, but we've adapted it to account for the nuances of e-commerce. So the 6 Ps in this case would be, the first 5 are perfect page, which is what today is all about, content accuracy, ratings, and reviews. Product placement in terms of where the product is organized on the retailer site, price and promotion, of course, and then finally which products you actually make available to purchase, what the assortment is, what the product configuration is. Those 5 Ps then drive the 6th P of performance, which is all about sales share, as well as share of search and search rank. Traditionally, there's always a lot of focus on how do I improve search, how do I improve search, and we're going to we'll have some case studies today on improving search, but it's important to keep in mind that the first 5 Ps are what are within your control as a manufacturer, and that 6th P of performance is the output, it's the result, it's the measurement of all of your other efforts, because manufacturers, of course, can't directly influence the retailer search algorithm.